concerns that have been raised. And then historically, we have made it our 10th consecutive tournament since the last missing out in 2004 and 24th overall since its first appearance in 1963. So after the game, Black Stars head coach Chris Hughton had something to say. He said that his side had to wait for the game to open and before scoring the needed goals, but he admitted that the goals that they could have scored more goals against Central African Republic. Let me take your quick reaction to that, Pakwesi. If you hear something like this, you're playing at home at the Barra Sports Stadium, is almost a full capacity, and you had to wait for the game to open up. Quick reaction, just some 10 seconds.
Did the game to open up before you get the win?
Yeah.
Did the game even open up? And you said they had to score more goals. Did they even create goal-scoring chances to merit the goals he's talking about? I'm sorry, Chris Hughton. It's not what you saw, to be honest with you.
What did you see?
You play a game, you struggle in midfield to dominate Central African Republic, and you want to create chances.
Wait, let's hear from Chris himself, shall we?
Okay.
No, the answer is you never know, because one performance can be different to the next. For one performance, if I look at today, I think it shows the level of this competition, because we're up against a big, strong side. First half, yes, we could have done better first half. I think maybe in our possession, and I think probably once we got into the final third, we could have been a little bit more clinical. But sometimes you have to wait for the game to open out a little bit to be able to use them spaces. So for me, it's always about the ending. The ending is that we won the game. I think in the end we could have won it more comfortable, more goals. So we continue to work. In international football, you don't have the players for very long, and the squad can change from one game to the next. But you do the best you can in the period of time that you have.
All right, so you heard from Coach Chris Hughton over there. He was speaking about the fact that the game had to open before he asked the players to score. I mean, we shall be interrogating that. But he also touched on Inaki Williams. Let's take a listen.
No, to be perfectly honest with you, it's not a question of agreeing or disagreeing. This is a player that plays in a top league, can play in the wide area, but predominantly Iñaki is a number 9. He's a centre forward. This is where he's played the large majority of his career. So for me, it's not a question. He's here because he wants to be here. He is a top player. I found it difficult to get the goals here, and sometimes it might take a very lucky goal for him to score that gets him off the mark, and things change. But with number 9s, it's not always about scoring goals. It's about what they're prepared to give a team. And yes, he's still waiting for that goal, and we do. We'd like to think that we have good options and a good enough squad and good options in the forward area. So I'm quite sure at some stage it will come through.
All right, so when he was asked about how his team, the Black Stars of Ghana, how they will be capacitated to face the giants in Africa, this is what Chris had to say.
Is your team ready to compete with the top levels in African football?
Well, okay, so firstly and foremost, so my experiences so far is that the level of African football has increased. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we actually finished top of our group. So I think that's something to be very proud of. It's always about development. I think when you look at the squad that we had, I mean, even when I came in, I think we'd had 10 new players that had been introduced to the squad over the last year. So it's always a process, but I think we shouldn't take away from the fact that we also had some big players missing today. This is something that's forgotten about. And also I think we mustn't take away the fact that we actually finished top of our group in I think a tough group, and I think certainly the two teams that finished below us, I think are good level sides, and I think the players certainly have to be applauded for that.
Right, so you heard from Black Stars head coach Chris Hughton speaking extensively. He has touched on Inaki Williams, he has touched on his team, and of course he has also touched on his team's chances moving into AFCON 2023 in La Côte d'Ivoire. But let me also hear from you who are listening on Facebook and, of course, on radio as well. 0575943943 on WhatsApp, 0575943943, and of course on Facebook is Focus FM KNUST. Focus FM KNUST. Come there, share your comments and
Focus FM.
we'll be glad to read them. So, let me begin from you, Chairman. The general perspective that we all went to the Barra Sports Stadium to watch football on Thursday was to watch the Black Stars play good football and to win. My question to you is simple. Do you think that was achieved?
All right. So your question is in two folds.
Okay.
To play football and to win. So I would say the latter was achieved. Of course, we won by 2-1.
Sure.
But the general talk around town is that the performance of the Black Stars hasn't been impressive as Ghanaians would want it. You know, every football nation has its own style. Every football nation has its own way of doing things. It has its own way of playing. And so Ghana, our own of playing is a little bit different from what we are seeing, especially under Chris Hughton. You know, we don't play games at the Barra Sports Stadium, which is a fortress for almost every national team every national team that faces the Black Stars, and then we kind of struggle, especially in the first half.
This is Focus 94.3.
I wasn't impressed at all myself, because I watched the game the whole 90 minutes and I didn't see the pattern of play of the Black Stars, the kind of football that Ghanaians would expect that the national team will exhibit anytime they are playing, especially at home. We didn't see it. It was as if that we had wanted to settle for a draw.
Yeah,
that's what I saw from the beginning. That we don't want to, push for goals and wouldn't want to concede as well.
Yeah.
And that is why two identical midfielders were played in the game. I mean, the central zones in Salis and Elisha Owusu.
Yeah.
I think these are two identical midfielders. They are all defensive midfielders, but with different roles.
Yeah.
And so when you play them, it's like you're duplicating roles in a team. So it made our kind of play, it made it very difficult for us to transit from the defense to the attack. So if you watch the game very well from the beginning, you will see that there was that kind of misunderstanding between Salis and Elisha, who is actually to take the ball from the defenders and start the distribution, because that is what Elisha does best, and it is the same thing that Salis does. Salis does break play. There are two number 6 with different attributes. Salis' attribute is he does break play. Just like previously Michael Essien and N'Golo Kante from his days as Leicester City was doing, they break play. Elisha's role is like the Jorginho type. He collects ball from the back and also
from the heart of KNUST,
so
the east wing
their role are quite
the
the same.
This is
And so
Focus
kind of
94.3.
So from the beginning, you could see that the
is our
Central African
speciality.
Republic were trying to attack us right behind these two central midfielders. Anytime they get confused, that is where Mafuta and Namganga and those guys will try to penetrate. And if you could see from the first goal, Mafuta ran from deep of midfield before he got to the back of our centre backs and got the ball lifted to him before he scored that goal. And that's right. So in the substitution that Chris did, I was expecting that when we are playing at Baba Sports Stadium, we don't need two central midfielders. No, we don't need that.
I mean,
so
in terms of the defensive abilities,
exactly, because this is not a team that we expect to attack. When the Central Africans came in, they saw the strategy that we started to play and decided to play according to our weaknesses, because they saw that the two central midfielders were confused and decided to attack us right from behind the two central midfielders. So all the attacks, you see that they played the ball to the center of the field because the two players were confused. And Salis had an awful day since he made his debut for the Black Stars. I think this is
the worst performance.
In fact, very worst. It was very awful. He didn't come to the office at all. He was confused. He didn't know when to take the ball. He didn't know when to tackle. He was even confused. He didn't know the spaces that he ought to cover. So I think that that is the worst I've seen him play since I saw him play for RC Lyon and the Star.
Not to cut you. After the game, he came back to admit on his official Twitter page, and he even apologized to the fans. And there are also sources that say that he was playing through injury.
Yes, initially everyone thought that he wouldn't be available for the game. But once you accept to play, it means that you are ready. Because in his role, we have quality and we have a lot of players who could have manned that role.
Yeah.
And once you accept, or the medical team assess you and then cleared you to play, it means that you are 100% fit. Because we have a lot of players who could have slotted in
Baba
if he wasn't. Baba Idrisu was there. Elisha himself.
Your systems are offline. Number one for today's hits.
Focus FM 94.3.
Covering, he wasn't passing well. At the point I was like, this guy, what's happening to him? But all too good. We won. That's the most important thing. Qualified for the AFCON for the 10th consecutive time since we started qualifying from 2006 after we missed out in 2004 in Tunisia. So that's very good for us. But going forward, I think a lot of work would have to be done with our team, with our general play. You know, I didn't get it when people were still calling the name of Thomas Partey. This is the same Partey that who plays and we say we don't see him play. The kind of football he plays outside
Arsenal,
when it comes to
even
the Blaster. And when in his absence, we're calling for him. So I don't know. But Chris would have to up his game. In fact, he's kind of, letting all of us down. Those who called for his name to be the Blasters. I think he's letting us down. Because after 4 games, we haven't seen any pattern of play. We haven't said that the Blasters should beat teams by 6-7 goals margin. No. That's not what we want. He said at his unveiling that we'll have to play developmental football. But we don't see the development. One thing that is killing the Black Stars from time immemorial is attitude. And that hasn't changed since Chris took over. I don't know if you have seen that. Ghana is down by a goal to none at the Bavaria Sports Stadium, which if that result had maintained, it means that we're missing out on the AFCON.
Yeah.
And we get a free kick, and you could see the kind of attitude that Jordan Ayew was approaching the ball with was very abysmal. You can't do this anywhere. That is the kind of attitude that we want to see change in the Black Stars, but we are not seeing it. So I don't know the kind of development that Chris would want us to believe that is his kind of engineering into the team. But having said that, I mean, and now football, they say efficiency is the most important. And we won by 2-1. We've made it to the AFCON. Going forward, we would have to work so hard on our team, because if you are struggling against Central African Republic, I'm afraid. What if you meet Nigeria
in the Garden City? Focus FM 94.3.
Don't forget, Ivory Coast have very good players, and they will be playing at home. So before you be able to win the AFCON, you should be able to account for these teams. What would the Black Stars do if we were to meet all these teams in Cote d'Ivoire? So I think Chris would have to go back to the drawing board. I mean, from here, 4 months to the AFCON is enough time. He would have to sit down, rewrite his books, try to get a good pattern of play for the Black Stars. We are not a defensive team. He should get that in mind. We are not a defensive team. That is not the Black Stars. That is not how Ghana plays. If he doesn't know, he should go back and watch clips of our national team. Because the kind of football he's exhibiting, Kosike Akono, Kwesi Appiah, and those that
and even
we
Milo.
treated them, and even Milo, we said they are not good coaches, and they were playing even better football than this. Kwesi Appiah's squad that went to the AFCON in Egypt in 2019 did play better than this. We saw a very good attacking football from the Black Stars. We didn't see this kind of defensive game. So Chris would have to rewrite his books, invite the right players, because I think that if you want attackers, if Iñaki is not firing, there is Tekwete there. I'm not saying Iñaki shouldn't be invited, but there is Tekwete who is scoring and playing so well in Bulgaria. So why don't you invite him? Why don't you also give him chance? Now you're giving Iñaki chance and it's not working. So drop him. Now Semenyo is playing day in, day out for Bournemouth. So why not start playing him?
And even if you are going to play Inaki Williams, don't you play him in a similar role as he plays in his club team?
Now, you see, he started as a winger. And after Oduris retired from Atletico Bilbao, he was made to lead the lines as a number 9. And now, they have found a striker, so they have reverted him to his old role. Now, he's manning the right wing for Athletic Bilbao, and his brother Nico is also manning the left wing for Atletico Bilbao. So, he's reverted to his original role as a player, which you know him to be an explosive winger, very pacey winger. And the kind of football, you give the ball in the air for Iñaki Williams to combat.
It's Focus 94.3.
And then Peter Ginari of Central African
Republic.
Bulky centre backs. And you could see anytime the ball was floated in the air, they picked the ball before Iñaki could even get into the air. So I think that Chris would have to change his style. He would have to change the pattern of play of the Black Stars and select the right players. Because when you saw when Semenyo and Nyama came into the game, you could see that there were changes in the game. That was where we started, creating chances in here. That's where we scored our second goal from. And I think that he would have to change his style of play.
Before we finish or conclude on this subject, maybe a message or two for Baba Rahman.
Yes, personally, I feel that this is a player whom football hasn't dealt well with. I think that per his talent, it's only injuries that is limiting Baba Rahman's talent as a footballer. For his attributes, no doubt, no questions about that. But that alone doesn't play football. You also got to get the strength to play. And now you could see that Baba Rahman doesn't have the strength. And yes, on Thursday, you could see that this was a player who was frustrated throughout the game. And if you're a player who is playing and supporters start chanting that you should be changed, it rings a lot of bells.
Your own supporters?
Yes, exactly. It rings a lot of bells in your ear. And I think that he's a good player. His inclusion in the Black Stars, for me, I support. But for him starting and playing, no. Because consistently he's shown that he's not up there at the moment. He doesn't have that right strength to play 90 minutes for the Black Stars. And interestingly, what I knew Baba Rahman to be good at was attacking. And Thursday, I didn't see that in him
at all.
He was booming forward to give him the balls. It's either his crosses weren't good or he was unable to cross at all. That is what we know him to be doing. For him retrieving to, cover his spaces at the back, we know he has frailties in there. And so I wasn't surprised that he kept on coming. But when he moved forward to give him the ball,
This
and he
is
wasn't
Focus
crossing well,
94.3.
well.
Performance
So,
is our speciality.
confident, or it was because of the boos that were going on at the Baba Rahman Stadium. That's what made him lose his confidence. And you could see he wasn't injured. I can say that he wasn't injured. He thought that he had lost everything, and he thought that his presence on the pitch wasn't needed, and so he needed to give up. But to the fans of Kumasi, please, we don't need this anymore.
Okay.
Yes, you don't boo our own players. Even if you disagree or you are not content with the performance of the player, that's not how to go about it. In fact, the booing is too much. It's too much. This is a player who's done a lot for the Black Stars. 52 appearances with 1 goal and 8 assists. It's not mean an achievement for a
national
left
team.
back.
Yeah.
I think that Baba Rahman's attribute, it's only injuries that has limited him. His inclusion in the Black Stars is good, but starting the coaches would have to think again.
Thank you very much, Chairman Lawrence. Pakosi, let me hear from you. But before we do this, this show is dedicated to somebody here. Before he gets his turn to talk, we'll do a special birthday wish for him. Don't worry. Let's continue.
Chris Hughton said that the game had to open up before they could get the 2 goals to score. I asked myself that was he watching a different game than what we were watching at
Chris Hughton was the one who was standing on the bench for the Black Stars. And so he was watching the same game.
Me watching from the restaurants.
Yes.
Was watching the same game as I was watching.
Yes.
Then I bet you differ. Because you play a game and you are not playing a Central African Republic team who are not playing 10 men behind the ball. We started the game, Central African Republic was playing with us toe to toe, 50-50, end-to-end game. And you tell us that the game had to open up. I don't understand
One station.
Focus FM.
Tune in.
You don't understand what?
They were not playing 10 men behind the ball.
You don't understand?
They open up like you were saying. I don't know. I don't understand it.
I don't understand it. Okay, let's say.
Because you started a game, this team was even playing better than you. They were dominating your midfield. And as Chairman Law said, I bet to differ with him small. With our midfielders, look at the midfielders we called. We called Salis, we called Elisha, we called Baba Idris, we called Edmond Ado, we called Kudus Mohammed, and Andre Ayew.
That's if you like to add him to,
These were the 5 or 6 midfielders we called for this call-up. How many of these midfielders are ball-carrying, ball-progressing midfielders? How many? So we need to look at the type of profiles we call. And also, even let's take away the 2 defensive midfielders he played. There are so many teams who have played 2 defensive midfielders and they've dominated teams week in, week out. This is not the first time a team plays two defensive midfielders. We've seen a team play. We've seen Ghana play. Mubarak cancel a free hour.
Yeah.
And we've dominated
Focus 94.3.
the like African football. We've dominated and played them. So this is not the first time a team plays two holding midfielders. We've seen it Ghana consistently. We've seen Antonia Knight, Michael Essien. We've seen that.
Yeah.
So this isn't the first time, but the roles need to be defined.
Okay.
Among the three midfielders we played, what was the role of these two midfielders? It was whose duty to close up. It was whose duty to progress the ball. Was it Elisha's duty? Was it Saleh's duty?
I think that's where the confusion
That's where
stems
the confusion
from.
is. Because when you are playing a three-man midfield, each of the midfielders have their role to play. At any point in time, one tool is to clear the lines, break play, and make sure to cover up the spaces left by the two midfielders. You see Kudus in an advanced position as a number 10, but you see Kudus drop deep from his attacking zone to a defensive place of the game.
But he's not receiving any supply.
Then there is question marks.
This is
One
Focus.
of our strongest areas is our midfield. That has made Ghana. You can't take anything. You can talk about our attack, the defensive side of our game, but the most instrumental side of our game is midfield. So when our midfield is not working, we are being exposed. And so the earlier they find solutions to that midfield problem, the better for us. Because when our midfield is working, there is no problem.
So is it a question of the technical team?
The East Wing
In as
of
much
the
as
Great
our
Ball.
players
This is Focus
and I'm not part of those
94.3.
people who say we have quality players, quality
Is
players.
our specialty.
According to you, don't have quality.
So if you have quality players, show it that you have quality players.
Okay.
We hype these players, Saleh, Elisha, Thomas Partey, but when they come to a national team, we don't see it. And when you are playing shambolically, you expect us to clap for you. This is Ghana. We don't celebrate mediocrity. We've seen quality players. We've seen a midfield of Steven Appiah, Michael Essien, and Sule Muntari. We've seen quality. We've seen Asamoah Gyan. We've seen the best. We've seen Abedi Pele. So you don't expect us to give you play reluctantly, that last such attitude on the field of play, and you expect us under this coach's sun and how tense this country is. Let's be real to these boys.
Yeah. People paid 30 cities to watch this.
People come from all walks of Ghana. Some come as far from different regions, far from Accra. They pay bus fees, come and watch you play. And you give us this mediocre performance and you expect us to clap for you. No. We will tell you that what the performance you are giving to us. This is not something new in football. This is not something that a country is a whole Brazil. Boo is players. You play better than Brazil. But we need to set the record straight. These players they are playing. You use taxpayers' money to pay them. It's high time we make it known to these players that this is Ghana you are playing for. The African countries, the government tells them that you are going to perform at this stage. We won't give you this, we won't give you this. They go and they bring back glory. We can't be spoon-feeding you week in, week out, yelling out. And you continue to give us these graceful performances and we still continue to support you. No. That should come to an end. So, Chris Hughton, the better you find solutions to that problem, the better for you. Because you've sacked coaches. That's not the style of play of Ghana. You don't play Central African Republic and you struggle to play Central African Republic. You struggle to set out passes, give out 1, 2, 3 passes in midfield against Central African Republic. Elisha also takes the ball and gives it back to an opponent. Ghana, comfortably. As if there's nothing at stake.
Chapter systems are offline.
Number one for today's hits.
Like an exit goal,
Focus FM
What would you say
94.3.
about the performance of, say, Alidu Seidu?
Alidu did well, to be honest with you. And the role he was being given, because when you watch the game carefully, we were attacking with a 3-back. And Baba had to bomb forward to add numbers in attack. So his role as a left-sided right back, as a defensive right back, he did it well. But one thing that he needs to add to his game is his passes. If you are going diagonal, the diagonal pass must go to your player. You don't give diagonal pass and it goes outside the place. No. But he did well. But my man of the match will be the Kumasi fans. Mind Boston.
Alright, so the Kumasi fans are your...
That will be my man of the match.
Okay.
None of the players gave me anything. You can talk of Kudus Mohammed.
Yeah.
No. But what you expect from an amateur is not what Kudus is giving to us. Kudus is playing well.
Okay.
Per his colleagues. Per what his colleagues are doing on the field of play.
His is better.
It is better. you can say, oh, at least he's trying his best to do something for his national. And that free kick go to shows his persona and his personality on the field of players. As a star boy, this makes you who you are. If you come to the African continent, Sadio Mane and then Samuel Eto'o and then Didier Drogba, they have been worshipped here not because of their club performance. Asamoah Gyan is being adored here not because he played for Barcelona or Real Madrid. The performance you give to your national team is something you forever cherish. Look at Lionel Messi now. Lionel Messi has done it for Barcelona, but you can see the fans and then the cheer Lionel Messi is feeling now. It cannot be compared to what he felt at Barcelona. Your people giving out for you is the best you can ever receive as a player. Because when you play and you are done, when you retire, you definitely come back to your team, to your home, and that's when you receive that cheering. So I think the earlier our players play better, the better for them. And also Inaki Williams.
1 minute.
Inaki Williams.
In the Garden City.
The thing is that Inaki Williams is not a 6-foot bulky striker that you want him to tussle with defenders for balls. No. He's one striker of the likes of Thierry Henry. They don't deal with physicality. They will deal with pace and running in behind. So the earlier our midfielders once again, our midfielders spot that side of Inaki's game. Because with every striker, the profile of Antoine and Inaki is different.
Okay.
Antoine's way of striking is more or less like the Olivier Giroud, the Didier Drogba type of striking. They go with strength.
Yeah. And he's bulky too.
Yeah. But Inaki's, it deals with pace and running in behind. So our midfielders need to find a way, and also the technical team needs to find a way to get the guy balls. Because if a striker runs in behind, that's when you as a midfielder need to spot that run.
Okay.
There are some good plays like that. Thierry Henry like that was how he plays his football. Aside his dribbling ability, his ability to dazzle between 1 or 2, 3 players and then score. One of his key ability was to run in behind defenders. And such players is difficult to track them. Look at Marcus Rashford like this. The reason why Marcus Rashford is that deadly in front of you is his ability to run in behind. So the moment you lose off guard, he's on his way going. So I think Inaki Williams is either we change him because of the style of play we play, or we change our style of play to suit Inaki Williams.
All right, thank you very much. That was Parkwesi. You heard Lawrence earlier on, but let me get to you quickly, Dembaba. The Black Stars of Ghana have qualified for the AFCON the 10th consecutive time. This time around, it's in Cote d'Ivoire. I hope you'll be there.
Sure.
We'll meet there in Cote d'Ivoire. Maybe check it. All right, so let me hear your comments quickly on that. And the coach's comment about how he waited for the game to open up before he chose to score. I mean,
This is Focus 94.3.
We'll get there.
And
The
I
birthday will
take
get
this
there.
in 3 folds.
Okay.
One, you've qualified for 10 years.
Yeah.
I like a program, Ekosi is saying. What's the benefit of the 10 years?
Okay.
When was the last time Ghana made something in the football of Africa?
I mean, like you are talking about winning the trophy.
Yes.
Itself. Okay.
82 till now. We are still
41
counting.
years. Yeah.
2015 was your best. Finals in Cote d'Ivoire, where we will be going next year.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, Angie.
Yes, how I feel. Now, the coach, we've given him the ingredients to prepare something better for us, but nothing. Jordan at Crystal Palace plays from the left or the flanks.
Yeah.
You can't play Jordan in Ghana setup as a winger for him to play well. Crystal Palace, Sloop will support him.
Yeah.
Koyate,
Yeah.
he has quality players
Yeah.
who progress the ball, who run into space for him to pass and assist. He's the player of the month of August for Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Same as Inaki, but Ghana don't have those players. Even if you have them, the coaches do not select the right players. You don't expect to play 2 pivotal midfielders against CAR, out of Senegal, out of Egypt. Ghana scored Egypt on this same field 6-1.
Yeah.
We didn't play 2 pivotal midfielders. No. So the coaches sometimes they should know that the world has advanced. Even before they call the players, we know those who are performing. Before they come, you know those who are injured, those who cannot make it. Before they call the players. So sometimes their comment after games should be like, we will give you better. Not that you are waiting for something to open. Against CAR, a country fighting for its first AFCON. You were waiting for the time for the game to open. Who opened the game for you? With your own players. And onto the players. You see, the last time Baba Rahman was left after the squad, Gideon Mensah played symbolically. The last time Alidu went out and Derisoda came in, nothing. But when they come off the bench, they play good. So the coaches know how to work on the players. On Thursday, Juku and then Edu, they were just crashing each other. Even before the goal came, they were close to each other.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you are two center backs.
Especially
one
Juku.
should be here, one should be here. Sometimes you blame the goalkeepers because he's the last man. When the ball beats him, it's inside the net. So you always blame Atizigi. He has his flaws, but the players on the field of play, they should back up their game. With what Ghana beat Egypt, almighty Egypt, 6-1, and we cannot beat Car. We wait for them to score before we equalize, and then score late. So that is on that part. Now the last part, you see, when we talk of fans booing players, it's in two tangents. We expect something from you. You see, it's in the mind of Ghanaians that Baba Rahman is Kurt's boy, even before he joined Chelsea. So if Baba Rahman is called, we don't know whether it's based on merit or the link between Kurt. So any little mistake, the fans will boo him. Remember Ghana, Kumasi fans booed Ghana, this Ghana team against Uganda.
Yeah.
And they sent their matches to Tamale. What happened?
Yeah.
They came back.
And Cape Coast.
They came back. So anytime we boo them, they know that no, these fans need something. Now, nobody impressed Ghanaians. If Ghana plays a football match after that, we hail the whole team. But Thursday, Kudus, Alidu, that's all. Who again? We have 25 or 24 players, but only 2 players. Why? Because the rest were not.
Maybe Myanmar to an extent.
Yeah, Myanmar came in because of. Yeah. But this is not the Ghana we know. We were nicknamed the Brazilians of Africa. How?
94.3.
Not because of this 1-2 play ball. Now, Brazil was playing the 4-2-2-2 diamond system. That was then. Now they play the 4-3-3. Can't we change our formation 2 again? If you want to play Inaki Jordan, at least add Semenyo to be your main target. Because Inaki cannot play same as he plays at Atletico Bilbao in this Ghana setup. No. Kudus cannot be running throughout. Kudus will play as a false 9 for Ajax and score. Because he has Edwin Alvarez behind. He has players. He has Tadic. They will supply. Who will supply Kudus in this Ghana setup? No one. Whether we are going, we are moving forward, we are coming back. We don't know where we are going. So going forward, I think the coaches should work out because this is what Ghanaians don't like. We cannot be qualifying for AFCONs and you go nothing. You qualify nothing. No. Then we should come and sit home and enjoy them play. Because if always you go and we not do anything, it doesn't mean that we are competitive. Argentina had 2 World Cups. Yeah. But they said they had Messi. Messi, they don't know Messi because they've not won a World Cup under Messi. Yeah. And they won it. Since 82, all the players in this Black Stars were not born. So they will retire. Apia, Muntari, Essien, they've retired. Yeah. They played good, but nothing. What they did for us was 2008. When we co-hosted, that was all. So they need to do something for the country. Always qualifying is not what we want. Win the trophy and come back. We will praise you.
So let me ask you quickly before you take the final thoughts on this one. Do you think that
all the hits,
now in January
one station,
Focus FM,
tune in.
There can be massive changes, but in 2 folds, negatively or positively.
Positively.
Let me pick the negative part first.
Okay.
When CK was appointed, he said he would not be influenced. But we saw CK announcing his own squad, not knowing the players where they come from. That's one. Negatively, we cannot do anything at the AFCON. And positively, we should know who and who to call. It's not that we have quality players, let's call them. No. Nigeria left Odewinge and some players out and won the 2012 AFCON.
Yeah, Stephen Keshi 2018. Yeah.
So it doesn't mean we should bring all the players. Oh, they are playing good. No, we need the right mentality of the players to play the tournament. It's played every 2 years. Now in the next 2 years, half of these players will not be part. Not injury, not retirement, but they will lose their form. So we should find the right players to go. And Chris Hughton, you see, he was part of O2's coaching staff, or he was part of those administration.
Technical director.
And now, up till now,
It's
we can't
Focus
figure out the
94.3.
formation Ghana plays. 4-2-3-1, 4-3-1-2. How do you arrange the players? It's different from how they play on the field of play. So it should back up, because we cannot be losing balls in midfield. When you have Partey, we have Salis, we have Idris, we call them names. They play for their country, their clubs, week in, week out. They play good. But when they come to Ghana, they don't play well. So they should find the right balance of the players and the right call-ups to make. Because they left some players out with injury. Assuming they are all back from injury, what will happen? Some players will be dropped. So it shouldn't be on links. It should be on what? Merit. So that we can make it in the AFCON 2024 in Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire.
All right, thank you very much, Dembaba. You've heard from Lawrence, you've heard from Parkwesi as well. But let's now take a listen to the coach of the Central African Republic side, Raul Savoy, who also shares the same opinion as most of you. He says that his team was the better one, and the defeat was not a true reflection of the game that was played on Thursday.
Because they fight the whole game, and yeah, we don't deserve to lose tonight. I think the draw will be more fair, because well, okay, you are qualified, you win 2-1, but you cannot be proud of your team, because this team is not playing football. So we play football. We are far better than you guys, I think, especially in the first half. Okay, we had to concede this 1-1 just before the break, and then in the second half we push, because for us it was no solution. You have to score the second goal to qualify.
All right, so you heard from Rahul Savoy, who thinks that the Black Stars did not play football. In fact, his opinion is largely shared by a lot of us here in the state. But let's turn away from that and venture into the Ghana Football Association elections that's coming up. But the elections committee have disqualified former vice president of the FA, George Afriyie, on account of a wrongful endorsement of his nomination form. So live on Facebook, we are showing the decision of the elections committee to disqualify the former Ghana Football Association president, George Afriyie, who has in turn taken action to challenge this disqualification from the election. Don't forget that he lost the 2019 presidential election to Keto Kreku, and he's going to contend this one in court. He has filed a notice of appeal, and he has filed an appeal with the appeals committee first, seeking to reverse the decision of the elections committee that rendered him ineligible for the presidency. This according to a report cited by our colleagues with Joy Sports. So this is it. Uncle George has been disqualified, but he says, hey, I'm going to file an appeal, and I'll do this one firstly with the appeals committee, and if it doesn't go well, I know that George Afriyie will take it further. But let me hear you quickly, Parkwesi, 3 minutes briefly before we do some other matters that are also bothering Ghana football. So George disqualified.
I saw this coming, but I never thought it would be George Afriyie.
Who do you think it to be?
I thought probably maybe a different candidate probably will be coming around.
He will be disqualified instead. Okay,
but
as it stands now, if you per the mandate or per the elections committee, it means that Keto Kreku is going on appeal.
Chapter systems are offline.
Number one for today's hits and all-time favorites. Focus FM 94.3.
Because George Afriyie knows all the formality that comes with this electionary process. He has run before, and then also he was the vice president of the Ghana Football Association. I don't think there will be any change in this nomination, in this filing of nominations.
To my utmost surprise, these are people who have been in the football circles for years. George Afriyie, I mean, if you remember those in the early 2000s, he brought the idea of Gamba All Blacks. He brought Gamba Osaka from Japan to partner Swedru All Blacks. So they changed the name from Swedru All Blacks to Gamba All Blacks. And so he's been in football for all this while. He's rose to the vice president of the FLS since time immemorial. He's been with clubs. He's run. So I'm very surprised, and I'll be very surprised if this thing is established that this basic thing, escaped these guys. So I kind of do not understand this thing. However, according to the statement released by the Elections Committee, it states that Leslie Kuku Bartels, he is the sole owner of Victory Warriors FC. And so he has only 2 directors, himself and one woman called Ifa something. So she's the secretary. So they are the 2 directors of the club.
In the Garden City, Focus FM 94.3.
In this case, what the election committee is saying, falsify a signatory or endorse a candidate whom he knows he's not eligible to. Do you think Jeffrey Asari will do that? With all this, the kind of, the stature of Jeffrey Asari in Ghanaian society, do you think that he will bring his dignity down to the floor like this? So that is where, and Kuku Bartels, per the FA statement, has confirmed in a WhatsApp video that Jeffrey Asari does not have signatory to the club's account, and so he doesn't qualify as a club director. However, I've also been reliably informed that Jeffrey Asari was mandated to do that on behalf of the club. But the statement is also saying that Jeffrey confirmed that he's not a director of the club. But he did not confirm whether or not he was asked to do that on behalf of the club. So these are 2 different things.
And this is clearly something you can do on proxy.
Exactly. He said he admitted that he's not a director of the club. Yeah. But he didn't say anything that the club did not allow him to sign on their behalf. That's not what Jeffrey has stated, according to the statement of the Elections Committee. And so we can still contest this in the Appeals Committee if we're given the chance. And I know Uncle George will go in there. But Kuku Bartels is someone whom I personally do not trust. If you could remember, this is the same person who sold the player to Accra to Folk. I've forgotten the player's name. And not long ago, he came out and alleged that the reason why he didn't transfer the player to Accra House of Folk was that Alhaji Akambi requested some amount of the money. He requested a kickback after the player was transferred, and he didn't. He thought it wasn't a good thing to do, and as a result, he refused to transfer the player to Accra House of Folk. And this thing became public. Kuku Bartels later came out to defend that he never said. Meanwhile, he was on tape to have said that, but he said no, he didn't say that. So this is a man that we cannot trust. Integrity-wise, he has an issue already.
It's Focus 94.3.
It's documented. Kuku Bartels is someone who cannot be trusted per what he has done before. Because you cannot come out on radio in the media and say that a director of a club had wanted a kickback from a player he wanted to transfer to the club. Back to say that, no, I didn't say that. Meanwhile, you're on tape to have said that. He said, no, he never said that. So this is someone that we cannot trust. So it could be that he did not assign Jeffrey Asari to do that on his behalf, or he did that because we cannot trust him. But according to his statement, he says that Jeffrey does not have signature to the club, and so he was not allowed to have to show the video to them. Jeffrey's camp is also denying that they didn't say anything like that. But even if they had said that he's not a director of the club, was he assigned to or delegated to sign on behalf of the club? That's the big question I am asking.
You are still live at 94.3 Focus FM. Let me read some of the comments coming through Facebook before we get to them, Baba. So Facebook, let's read some of the comments. This one is coming from Augustine Kwanzaa. He says, great show, guys. Watching you live from East Legon inside GPL Extra Head Office. Augustine is chilling inside East Legon. Chawan, your boy is chilling. All right, let me get to Dembaba. The former Ghana Football Association vice president and the sole contender of the presidency of Mr. Keto Kreku has been disqualified from the race. Do you think that this is one of just the ways that you just have to eliminate by rough tactics?
When you hear it for the first time, you would think of such nature, but they've cited rules, laws, Article 29J.
So live on Facebook, we are displaying the laws that
is Focus by which 94.3
the former vice president has been disqualified.
So if you come back to flout these laws, you will be disqualified.
All right, so let me quickly read the
Article 29.
The GFA elections are rules 2029.
Okay.
2019.
2019.
Okay.
That's the 32. Let me get it right. 13 clause 2J. It states that a list of officials specifying those who are authorized signatories with the right to enter into legally binding agreements with third parties. Any changes of officials and authorized signatories shall be communicated in writing to the General Secretary within 30 days of the said change.
So these are the rules. So what happened? And they brought out findings that Jeff said he had no signature to the club.
Yeah.
Same as Kuku Bartels.
Yeah.
Now, how come Jeff signed those documents? And one thing I think Uncle George made a mistake was that you have one to propose 5 to second.
Yeah.
You could have more than 5 seconds. Even if one is disqualified, you are still good to go. But you didn't do that. And now you brought only 5. This is the case, one is disqualified.
No, but is it a case that he brought only 5, or there were just 5 who were willing to support him?
One proposed, 5 supported. And in those 5 who supported, one is disqualified. Who's Jeff Asare. So you cannot compete because you have to get at least 5 to support you. So before the proposal,
my question is that
Focus
that's where the problem comes in.
So once what is documented at 5, we will say that you brought only 5.
You brought only 5.
We don't know what, but you
because
know,
their names, they brought all their names and their capacity in the clubs.
Yes, and one interesting is that the reason why I said we shouldn't jump into conclusion is that Jeffrey Asare and his camp have also stated that they wrote to the General Secretary indicating that there's been a change, because the rule says that if you want to change someone,
a signatory,
you have to put to writing 30 days before to the GFA General Secretary, and they are saying that they are claiming that they did that. So Jeff admittedly said he's not a director of the club. That doesn't disqualify him from endorsing on behalf of the club. No.
Okay. Because it is something you can do on proxy.
Yes. He could be delegated by the club to do that, but it would have to be put to writing and submitted to the GFA General Secretary. And they are contending that they did that. So the appeals committee.
And so, but for what I'll add is, you see, with all this, they said you have the chance to appeal. Let's wait for the appeal.
Focus 94.3.
So if after the appeal, the GFA Elections Committee say this is what we've decided, then we can now conclude. But for now, Uncle George has all the luxury to appeal. This shouldn't be the case of I'm going to cast or no. Appeal. Even if Vision FC didn't do that, you don't have to go to cast. 30 days before after the change, just submit it. This is what we did. Maybe we even have
you know that there is a time limit to submission of once vetting is done.
I'm talking about the change of signatory which allowed Jeff to sign.
That was like 30 days.
10 days before.
Okay. No, it was you should indicate to the GFA General Secretary 30 days before you submit the form, the nomination form. You see, that is how it is. So once vetting is done, you don't have the luxury of the 30 days anymore.
And in the Division 1, in the Division 1, case between Sky FC, they lodged a protest to the secretary. He didn't see it. He later saw Nations FC.
Sky FC, okay.
So you see, you cannot just, because sometimes you come and say, oh, I didn't see this, I saw this. So maybe he didn't see it. So in the appeal,
you didn't see it.
It happened in the Division 1.
That
Sky didn't qualify because of the Nations.
The east wing of the Great Hall. This is Focus 94.3. Performance is a specialty.
It's a court. Once you are summoned, and you even hear on radio that court needs you, it means you've been served.
Yes.
You see that?
Yeah.
And so the GFA General Secretary cannot say that he did not see the writing.
Mine is based on what has happened before. Just recently, they ended Division 1. And Sky and Nations in Zone 2.
I understand.
The same issue.
Exactly. But
about
in this, you cannot say. And you see, after the appeals, he can still go to CAS. So maybe this thing will
Wouldn't
have
this
to be
prolong
done.
the elections and then everything?
No, but
We
even,
want justice to be served.
yes, and even the elections,
There's an injunction.
King Faisal Football
And
Club also trying to
I
place
have
an
a case with that
on it.
injunction. You see, per what I've read about the rules, there is no specific point that vote from the grassroots to the top.
Exactly. There's
So
there's
you
no
cannot
hierarchy
send-
around
Yes, there's
Yes.
no provision that. Yes,
And-
but
I think
based
from
on-
now they should make points.
Yeah.
From this we go to this because people feel that Kurt want to win the election, so he has to conquer himself before he pushes the rest to the
Others there.
grassroots. So I think they should look out for that one.
Okay.
Just make laws, just as this 2019 is stating. Let's start from the RFA or DFA, RFA before you come to the presidency.
Yeah.
If not that, every day in our football there will be injunction, there will be suspension.
Yeah.
17th the league will start, 15th, 16th, 17th, and still we are talking about injunction.
The league will not start on 17th. Don't forget,
No.
there's an injunction on
Yeah.
the league too.
The date we have, they keep on posting 10 days more, 5 days more. Even as of today, they give an update 8 days more. Meaning we are starting.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's an injunction on the league.
But you see, the problem is that it is as if the football people, if I should say, they have no regard for the injunction
Yes.
because they are aware they have been served, but they still insist that they will play the league or we will play the league.
You see what I was talking about?
All right, so let's play and see.
And I've seen a post about Hasbro. They will come back.
For
Meanwhile,
today's
we have our pictures already out. So where will
Focus FM 94.3.
Interesting times ahead. He's like,
Ghana football?
Yes.
Quick,
Yeah.
quick one. Myself, I'll be very surprised if it's established that Georgia Free and his camp, in this case Jeffrey Asari, have erred in what they are doing. I'll be very surprised. Very, because this is very basic. That is why I'm so confident that something may have been done before they did that.
Former vice president.
I'm so convinced because these people
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
I
He
mean,
contested in 2019.
Kurt and his guys do not know the football territory more than these guys.
Yeah.
No, they don't. So that is why I am doubting. I think that that's per my own convention. I think that, and per what I have also read and what I have heard and what I have been informed reliably, that certain things were done. There were right channels which were created before these things were done. And so the appeals committee would have to come out. So let's see. I mean, in the law court, we don't speak the truth, but
No,
we only
there's
defend
law,
the law.
yeah.
So let the law, take its course.
All right, so the law will have its rightful course right here on 94.3 Focus FM. I need to announce to you that there's a convention that is coming up. You can join us for a spiritual enriching exercise or experience at the Christ Apostolic Church International's 1 week international prophetic convention for the northern sector. This year's team is led by the Pillar of Fire, which promises a deep and transformative encounter with divine guidance and wisdom. Our team speakers renowned for their spiritual insight and leadership will impart their knowledge and inspiration to uplift your faith and transform your life. So the speakers are Apostle Samuel Amponsa Frimpong Esquire. Apostle Samuel Amponsa Frimpong Esquire. A salute. International chairman, and there's also Apostle Dr. Samuel Adekusi, who's the general secretary. There's Apostle Stephen Echampo, the co-director. Apostle Prosper Dobe, evangelism director. Apostle George Peter Derry, it's also the missions director. Apostle Samuel Pelly Mensah is also the prophetic director, and there's also Apostle Dr. Robert Asumadu Cheme, who's also from the Christian Education Directorate. This year's convention is scheduled to take place on the 11th to 17th September at the Kumasi, at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Kumasi campus. Join us for a powerful worship session every morning at 7:30 to 11:30 a.m. and every evening from 5 to 9 p.m. Join us for a week of divine revelation, spiritual growth, and a deeper connection with the divine. Don't miss the opportunity to be led by the Pillar of Fire. So it's a very, very big birthday here in the house. I told you earlier on that this whole show is dedicated to our man Dem Baba. So live on Facebook and of course on YouTube. Felix Adudako on YouTube. Dem Baba's image is showing here. Dem Baba, Charlie, happy birthday.
Thank you, bro.
Who better party be now?
part in the end, I'm saying so not twice.
So that started top 5. But I pray that the Lord, yes, the Lord will extend your reaches. I mean, you go beyond this. We are praying for God's divine intervention and mercies on your life, Charlie.
I'm highly honored on my birthday to be on your show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, 11 minutes after 1, this is where time permits us to draw the curtains to today's edition of the Sports Arena. You heard from Parkwesi, former Queen's Hall. Metanasi. What hand you over, Rihanna? Have you handed over?
Well, I've handed over.
Oh, okay. So right now, I can safely call you former vice chairman.
Yeah, former vice president.
Oh, former vice president. So just like George. Uncle George, disqualified. All right, so you heard from Parkwesi, the former Queen's Hall vice president. You also heard from Chairman Law, who's the sports head at Focus FM KNUST. And of course, we're visited by Dembaba, who happens to also be celebrating his birthday today. My name is Felix Edudakwa. The Facebook stream and YouTube stream was done by the online manager. He goes by the name Roddick. Roddick, thank you very much for doing this every time. So thank you also for joining us live on Facebook. Let's see if there are some of the comments that I should read or guesting. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Francis Kumsin, watching live from Asokore Mampo. Shout outs to Akrungu James Dembaba, the Sports Majesty. It's Sports Majesty. Hey, some boys here. All right, so
let me greet him. He's a Reverend Minister.
Oh, okay.
Rev, good afternoon.
All right. I hope Rev praying for you and giving you a lot of birthday gifts as well. So thank you very much for doing the listening on radio and of course doing the watching on Facebook. This video will be live on Felix Edudakwa on YouTube. Felix Edudakwa on YouTube. A comment came from there. Sedakus says, nice one. Thank you very much, Sedakus. So on Felix Edudakwa on YouTube, when you go there, you like and you subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much. From now to 4 p.m. join the best of music. The best of music. Don't change your dial. This is 90.